I didn't think anyone would find me here. Not in this tiny, silent coastal town where the fog clung to the rocks like old secrets. That was the point. I came here to disappear. At 68, I'd had enough of the world's noise, of people needing things from me, of memories too sharp to bear. I left behind a house full of furniture that remembered more than I wanted it to, a family that looked at me with pity, and a mirror that had started to feel like a stranger's gaze. The cottage I bought sat at the very edge of the cliffs. It was modest, whitewashed walls, rusted window latches, and a porch that creaked under the weight of its own history. But it had light. Endless, liquid light that poured in through the windows and painted everything soft. For the first time in years, I slept without waking from dreams of his voice, his touch, his sudden absence. Daniel had died nearly 20 years ago, and still I was haunted. Here I walked every morning. A long coat wrapped around my frame, boots crunching gravel and seaweed. I waved to no one. The town was quiet, old like me, and respectful of solitude. That was part of the bargain. The sea spoke just enough. But on a Thursday morning in early April, something shifted. It was the sound first. Laughter, not mine. A child's. Softer and steady. I paused at the edge of the bluff, where I often stood and let the wind comb through my silver hair. Below, near the tidapools, was a figure. Man. Not young. Not old either. Just familiar. Too familiar. I didn't move for a long time. I thought perhaps the past had taken a form, a shape, and returned to remind me that no matter how far I ran, it would always have longer legs. Later that evening, I stared out my window with a cup of cold tea in my hand, watching him walk up the dirt path toward the village inn. He looked lost, or maybe that was just me, seeing myself in him. My heart began its slow, terrible thudding. I hadn't felt that in years. Not since before Daniel. Not since I'd been someone's muse, someone's mother, someone's longing. I tried to ignore him for days. But life doesn't let you ignore things that are meant for reckoning. On the fourth day, I found him sitting on the bench outside the general store. A notebook in his hands. Leather-bound. Just like Daniel's. I nearly dropped my parcel. "Eleanor," he said, standing too fast, as though the world had tilted forward. No one had said my name like that in a decade. It was Robert. Robert Delaney. We'd been 22 and naive once, dancing under campus lamplight and scribbling dreams on napkins. He had written me letters from France. I had sent him sketches of my paintings. But life had its own compass, and our paths never aligned again. Till now. We sat in the bakery for hours that afternoon. He had followed rumors, a half-remembered tip from a friend of a friend, and a watercolor of the cliffs signed with my maiden name. "I knew it was yours," he said. My hands trembled as I folded them over my lap. "I came to forget," I said quietly. "And I came to remember," he whispered. We were different people now. Our lives had been lived in separate orbits, with marriages, losses, growth, and grief that carved canyons in us. And yet, there was something undeniable about the ease between us, as though silence didn't need to be filled, only understood. Over the following weeks, Robert stayed. Not in my cottage, not yet, but nearby. We walked together sometimes. No touching. No promises. Just the comfort of being seen by someone who knew who you were before the world had reshaped you. I painted again. My hands, once stiff and hesitant, found lines that mattered. He wrote beside me. Poems. Letters he never mailed. Sentences that felt like apologies without needing to say the word. There was a moment, a quiet Tuesday morning, when he stood at the doorway of my cottage, eyes lowered. "I'm not here to steal what peace you've made," he said. "But if there's a place for me in that peace, I'll wait." I closed the door gently. Then I opened it again. That was months ago. Today, the sea still murmurs the same stories, but I'm no longer alone when I listen. Robert sits on the porch, a book in his hands, a blanket across his knees. Sometimes we talk. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we just exist. And that, I've learned, is its own kind of healing. 68, I am not who I once was. But I am no longer hiding. And that is everything.